Hello and welcome back to Calm AF. I'm Kristen Finch. I'm so happy to be here with you today, and I am so happy to say happy September. We did it. We got through the summer. I know that some of you really love summer. I am not a summer girly. I am all about the fall and September. I know we're not technically there yet, but September to me is like we're close. We are so close. Any minute now, the leaves are going to start changing and the air is going to feel a little bit crisper. And there is nothing better than that back to school energy. You know, like September to me has always, my whole life, felt more like a fresh start new year than January ever has. There's so much, like the fresh school supplies, brand new notebooks. It's like you're starting a new school year where anything is possible. I love that fresh start, new chapter feeling. And this year, I've been thinking about it a lot because in my own life, I have just started a very real actual new chapter and a new season of my life that I'm starting. And I've been thinking about it so much because I wanted to show up intentionally for this new opportunity in this new season. So I've been thinking about it a lot. And so I decided, let's you and I talk about it. Let's talk about how to harness this September energy in the best way. Let's talk about how to September a little differently this year. Let's dive in. So I need to actually set the scene because, you know, when things are just aligning in certain ways, I just think that's the universe's way of being like, wink, wink. And the timing of all of this was like chef's kiss perfect. So my new chapter, my literal, like you are moving into a brand new season of your life, blank page, started on September 1st, which was also a Monday, and it doesn't get any more satisfying than that. A blank page, Monday of a new month. I remember one year when New Year's was also on a Monday, and it was also a new moon. It was like, this is just magic. But the reason why I can point to September 1st as my very first day is because it was the very first day that I woke up as an official empty nester. Yeah, we did it. Dave and I somehow managed to raise children, and our little baby finches, they've left the nest. It's just us now. I'm only 2 days in. Everyone keeps being like, how's it going? I was like, I'm 2 days in, but I am being very deliberate about this. And I've been thinking about it a long time. Like, who do I want to be in this season? So I was going to take a notebook. Oh, this is the best part. Another little fun part about this story. So after the kids left, I went to their rooms and I was looking for silverware because we've lost all our silverware. And before I buy a whole new set of silverware, I was like, maybe they're in there somewhere. So before I could even search for silverware, there was a notebook just sitting on top of a desk. And I knew it was a brand new notebook. Like you could tell it wasn't like crumpled or folded or wrinkled or anything. And if it was an important notebook, they would have had it with them. So I'm like, oh, look at this. I am getting ready to start my new chapter. This can be my notebook. And I'm telling you, it gets even better. When I opened the front cover of the notebook, like I said, it was a blank notebook that was brand new. The only thing written in the entire thing was on the first page, and it said, Happy September in my kid's handwriting. I was like, well, obviously, this notebook is mine. And this is how I start my new chapter. So I take the notebook, I've got my pen, I go down to the couch September 1st, and I'm like, okay, this is my fresh start. This is where I'm going to put my thoughts that I've been thinking about, what I want this new chapter to feel like. I'm going to put this down in this notebook. And as soon as I was about to start writing, I had this little voice that showed up in my head. And what that old voice said was, well, this is great. Now you don't have any excuses. You don't have that whole oh, I'm so busy because I have these kids to take care of. You don't have that anymore. So everything that you have been saying you didn't have time for, or saying, every time you try and start something, you get distracted, all of these things that you've been saying for the last 18 years, you've got nothing but time, friend. No more excuses. And that voice was the message was clear. It's time to buckle down, time to get serious. It's time to figure out your plan. No excuses, balls to the wall. Let's go. That voice showed up for just a second, and I immediately shut that shit down because I know that voice, and I know that is not the voice of this chapter. This new chapter that I'm starting doesn't have anything to do with being more productive or becoming a new person with a new routine and discipline and whatever. This chapter, I have already decided, is going to be about doubling down on what matters most. And here's what I mean by what matters most. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. We all have moments in our life that we are reminded of what matters. Someone dies, there's a health scare, life takes an unexpected turn, and in those moments we get this crystal clear clarity. I actually call it deathbed clarity, where you realize all of the things that I spend all of my time worrying about and focused on and trying to better myself and be more productive and be more this, all of that spinning and busyness is not actually what matters. It's not getting me closer to what matters. Because at the end of my life, what will matter is that I enjoyed my life. What matters is, did I spend time with people I love? It's kind of, I think the 5 regrets of the dying are you'll never regret, it's not at the end of your life, you're thinking, oh, I wish I would have spent more time at the office. We all know the moments that matter. And what I also know is that new chapters, when you have a fresh start, a new chapter, a new page in the notebook, this can be a tricky time because that voice tends to show up and being there's this excitement about something new, but right behind it is, yep, and you're going to have to be disciplined, and you're going to have a routine, and you're going to have to decide on your time blocking, and when are you going to do this? It tends to be when we have a new fresh start, like a new year or a September, that's when we forget, again, what really matters. Because it does feel like the perfect time to really buckle down and get serious. So we do this backwards thing. We get crystal clear about what matters, and then we think we have to work really hard and earn our way back to being allowed to focus on it. We achieve our way away from the thing that we wanted to achieve our way to. Does that make sense? We want to achieve goals so that we can finally spend more time with family, so we don't have to feel guilty about doing fun things, so we can prioritize our health and relationships. But in the achieving of the goals, we're but I can't spend more time with people and I can't enjoy fun things. So in the achievement of the goals, we are delaying exactly what we want. And I know this tricky pattern that happens in September and January. So there I was, and I heard the voice. And instead of how can I use this freedom of time, the fact that I don't have, to worry about what everyone needs for, food. Oh my God. That's such a big difference already in 2 days. Instead of how can I use this freedom to buckle down and get serious about my goals, I asked myself this question in my notebook. What if I used this freedom to double down on what matters most? What if instead of having more time to be structured or to be productive, I focused on using that time to have more joy and connection and happiness and all of the things that really, really matter? What if this new chapter isn't about becoming someone new, but about remembering who I actually am and connecting more with that? Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up here is because I know who listens, who's here with me in these conversations. Most of you listening are high achievers. You have very high expectations for yourself. You have a lot of things you want to get done in this lifetime, which means that you may right now also be in a fresh start moment that happens in September. And because you're that high achiever, perfectionist, overachiever, these fresh start moments, Septembers, can be especially trappy for you. You know what matters. You're clear on your values. You know that you want to spend time with people, blah, blah, blah. But you've been programmed to think you have to earn your way to them through productivity and discipline. So you feel guilty for listening to music while you're running errands because what you could be doing, a better use of your time, might be listening to, something that you're learning something. Or you feel like dancing can't be your movement for that day because if you have time to dance, then you have time to go to the gym. But dancing brings you joy. Like, what if dancing for the sake of dancing creates the energy that makes everything else in your day flow better? What if enjoying music while you're out running errands puts you in the emotional state that allows you to be more creative or in a better mood so you're more present? What if choosing joy or love or beauty in your day instead of thinking that you need to be more productive? What if that is the most productive thing you do that day? The truth is that every day we're bombarded with messages about what we should be doing and how we should be doing it. And most of the time, how we aren't really living up to any of it. Our phones are constantly buzzing with reminders of shit we still need to do. Social media is constantly showing us people out there who seem to have their shit together. They have time for fun because they've achieved their goals, right? Everything is just like pinging us, telling us to do more and be better and work harder and try harder. And we're constantly being reminded of what we're not doing enough of. And so when I decided that this new season, I was going to double down on really remembering what matters, it's because it's so easy to forget. And so I decided that for me, September was going to be a bombardment of reminders of what actually matters instead. So if every day, instead of like getting pinged, like, did you do something that made you belly laugh today? Instead of, how many steps did you walk today? And if you were just being reminded, the reminder on your phone was to call someone that you love, instead of just like, bing, 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 you have 17 unfinished tasks. This chapter for me in September is making sure that I am bombarded. My pings, what's coming in is just over and over like, hey, remember what matters. Hey, don't forget that happiness and joy and love and music and dancing and all of those things, those are more productive than anything else you might do today. And the whole reason why you had all these goals that you needed to be productive for, that you needed to be disciplined for, the whole reason why you had those goals in the first place was so that you had time to focus on what matters. So how about we just skip the part where you're spinning and busy, and maybe you just double down on remembering what matters. So that's what I'm doing in September. And as a fellow high achiever, people pleaser, perfectionist, overthinker, I invite you to do the same. If you are in a new chapter moment, whether it's just because it's September, it's back to school, maybe you're empty nesting now, maybe you are newly single, maybe you're newly in a relationship, whatever your new chapter is, what if instead of focusing on how to prove that you are worthy of this new chapter, or how to prove that like you're going to be the most efficient, productive person ever in this new chapter, maybe instead of that, you just double down on what matters most. Instead of being bombarded with all the ways you're falling short, maybe in September you just get bombarded with all the reasons why who you are right now is pretty amazing. Maybe your morning routine, instead of I will wake up at 5 a.m. and I will do my workout and then I will do this and then I will do my tapping and my meditation. What if instead your morning routine includes turning on that song, that song that no matter what you're feeling, as soon as you hear it, it makes you happy. Maybe your evening routine, instead of, all of the prepping for whatever, like you can still do all of that. But what if the most important part of your evening routine involves sitting with your person and drinking tea or sharing your day instead of scrolling? Maybe you remember this month that you are not behind on life. You're not failing at some imaginary timeline. You don't have to prove anything. You don't need to work harder, try harder, faster. You are here right now. And the story that you want to tell, the chapter that you want to write, is up to you. And it can either be this new chapter where you figured out the most efficient morning routine and you were just so efficient, or it can be the chapter of how much joy you experienced. Because that is really everyone's end goal. How can you get these daily reminders? Now, I just so happen to send these daily reminders every single day to people who want them. We call them love letters, little bite-sized nuggets that every single day remind you of what matters instead of what you're not doing enough of. So if you would like to make this new September chapter really double downing with me on what matters, there is a sign-up link in the show notes, and I will send you these daily reminders every day in September. And these are not another thing for your to-do list. They will take you max 30 seconds to read. And it's just the way to start your day. Instead of like, here's my very long to-do list. It's like, here's a reminder of what matters. Because when you're operating from a place of prioritizing what matters, the achieving gets way easier. Your actual goals will be achieved much faster when you are prioritizing your joy and your rest and getting outside. It's so much easier. You just have to trust. And the best way to start trusting is to get these daily reminders so you don't forget, at least not in September, you don't forget that you don't need to buckle down and get so serious. You can still achieve your goals. You're just using a different fuel. You are using the fuel of feeling alive. It's the best fuel. So the link to get September Love Notes is in the show notes. And come back next week because I have more to say about this. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your week. I will see you next time.